Have you lost your job? Have you lost a loved one? Are you exhausted caring for your parents, for your kids? Well, you can find immediate relief when you read Sheila Mack's new #1 bestseller, Bootstraps and Bra Straps. It contains the Boots formula to move from rock bottom back into action in any situation, especially right now. If life has knocked you down, pick yourself up with Bootstraps and Bra Straps. Get your copy at www.sheilamack.com today.
Are you ready for a reboot? Welcome to the Sheila Mack Show, reality at its finest. History reminds us those hit hardest often become the change makers. This year, we've all hit crazy economic, social, and emotional rock bottoms. We all get knocked down. Something hits globally, locally, personally. It affects our health, finances, our relationships. We have to recreate a business or career. Each show, Sheila and her special guest will be sharing their reboot stories, guiding you with real solutions to upgrade and up-level emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Here on NBC's KCAA Radio. If you're ready to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and bra straps, enjoy a listen. Here's Sheila.
Welcome to the Sheila Mack Show, reality at its finest. Here we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mack, and today we have special guest Greg Reid. And Greg is an incredible author, and he has some secrets that he's going to share. So, Greg, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit further? You've got so much that you do.
Yeah, first of all, it's great to see you again. Long time. It's like the band getting back together. And for those of you who might be new to my career, my name's Greg. I'm here in San Diego. I'm an author, speaker, filmmaker, and very blessed. I've been published now in 114 books, 45 different languages, and just recently got a star on the Walk of Fame for doing this gig. So I got to tell you, it's an honor and a privilege.
Awesome. All right. Well, welcome to the show. And I have to go see your star because I'm actually in Vegas right now. So I will go visit the star.
And just so you know, I'm literally at the foot basin of the Eiffel Tower for the Paris Hotel. Right?
Nice.
I'm 6 away from Elvis Presley. Woo!
Now that's serious. So I would love to start off with, now my show actually started with my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. And I wrote that book right before we had the pandemic and never imagined all the situations that we would have to face this last 12 months or so. So I like to start off with asking if you have a time in your business or personal life where you hit a tough situation and how you got back on track.
Yeah, constantly. I mean, we all do, especially as entrepreneurs. But going back to even writing books, look, I'm the least qualified guy to do what I do. I mean, I can't read very well. I can't spell. I'm dyslexic. You play me Words with Friends will win every time, yet I'm this world-renowned bestselling author. And the way I did that is you work your strengths and you hire your weaknesses. So the first book I did was called The Millionaire Mentor. And I was turned down by 268 publishers, agents, printers in a row. And the 269th one said, we'll do your book, but change the title, beginning, middle, and end. It was horrible. So I got a great ghostwriter who recrafted it, and it went on to become a juggernaut, and was just one quote alone from that was shared 37 million times and, translated in languages all around the world.
How incredible. So that seems to be like the moral of that story is if somebody turns you down or it's not a good fit or whatever, that is okay because there's something even better that's going to show up.
Yeah, I never freak out about that stuff. So I'll give you an example. If I was going to do a meeting with somebody and, if they don't show up or they're late, I go, all right, well, that wasn't meant to be. Or it's the same thing if you go on a date and get like, all right, that might have just saved me a bad relationship. Who knows? Right. So the whole thing is I never look at the negatives because it seems like the universe will always give us exactly what we're ready and we're capable of accepting at that any given time.
Yes. So now what was with all the books, hundreds of books and everything that you've completed, what is your favorite?
Secret, it would be to work your strengths, higher weaknesses, number one, and door number two is I surround myself with people I have respect for and not people I have influence over, which is a big difference. So I believe you seek counsel and not opinion. Counsel is based on wisdom, knowledge, and mentorship, where opinions based on ignorance, lack of knowledge, or inexperience. So if I go to a family friend and say I'm going to write a best-selling book, they're going to talk me out of it to protect me because they know I'm dyslexic and they've never written a best-selling book. If I go to Mark Victor Hansen, who wrote Chicken Soup, he's going to say, here's what you need to know and give you counsel based on wisdom, knowledge, mentorship. If you spend your activity only seeking counsel and ignoring opinion, that's the day your life would change.
Oh, I so agree. I mean, I can remember back to a time when my house burned down in Ventura. We had the Ventura fire. I had just finished traveling for 7 years straight, enjoying that. And my house burned down. I had just purchased this beautiful house. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is a terrible situation, but wait, I'm going to change my mindset and I'm going to do something so different. And I practiced everything that all those mentors and people that you talk about, all the peer group that's showing you the good way, stay positive, this and that. Within a month, I was moved to Beverly Hills and I like things I didn't even, okay. The universe said Beverly Hills was where the universe wanted me, not Ventura. I was like, that is wild. I wouldn't have even attempted to move there. And so these things do line up, but it's almost like we have to surrender to timing and what's right to show up.
We are exactly where we choose to be.
Yeah.
And the whole idea is we just got to show up for ourselves and realize that we're here for either a moment, a season, or a reason, and look at it accordingly and go forward. I will share. I know you like secrets.
Yes,
I'm a whole thing about secret knowledge. I'm going to share with you my greatest aha discovery this last year. It's an acronym it's called C, the letter C, P, C, CPC, and it's accountability and responsibility. It stands for clues, choices. And I wish I would have learned this when I was younger. So many people blame other people for things that happen rather than knowing that they had the clue, the pattern, and they made the choice. So I'm a single guy. So if I go out on a date and the woman happens to be 20 minutes late, anything could happen, right? Car accident. But there's a little red flag. It's a clue. But if I continue to see her in the 8th, 10th, 12th, 100th date, she's always late. Well, that forms a pattern. But it's my choice whether I deal with it, I yell at her, break up. But it's not her fault. She's just late. Stop trying to change people to fit in your little paradigm. But we'll see someone with a bad reputation in business. They cheat your friend. You do business thinking it'll be different. Things go wrong. You're mad at the person. Looking back, rarely are we angry at the relationships that didn't go as expected or the business practices that fell through. We're just mad that we stayed in too late because we saw the clues, we saw the patterns, but we made our choices a little too tardy.
That is so true. And with relationships, it's very interesting when you look at many people, if they've had an interesting childhood and maybe there was some abuse or somebody wasn't aligned, there was alcoholism, something happened, they tend to end up dating people that are very similar to what they knew as love. That was their love. That was what they understood as love, that kind of treatment. And it's like, wait, this is a pattern I'm repeating and repeating until I finally realize it's me that needs to change, not those people. And going back to abuse, going through abusive situations, growing up or whatever, as a child, you think, okay, if that person wasn't mentally capable or had their own abuse as a child and now they're repeating the cycle, you get to stop it. And you have to be the healthy one to walk away when you see a pattern that's not aligned. And the more you do that, you're setting up a standard for like, this is my standard and these people get to be in my peer group. And if they don't meet the standard, they're not aligned, send them love and carry on. And that's it.
And I'd like to add to that in a very positive light, clues, patterns, choices in a positive manner. So also, look, we have 10 things at any time going on in our life. 3 of them were, or call it 8 of them were rocking. 1 of them, and 1 stink. Unfortunately, we focus on the stink rather than applaud ourselves for the good things that we're doing right. And I think we also need to have clues, patterns, and choices about the good things we're doing. Because common sense to you and I is genius to someone else. And we don't give ourselves the credit to understand that we are actually a powerful being who survived 100% of all the challenges that came our way. And we might have the ability and the foresight to help someone else who might be going through that same situation as well.
Yes, that's something I totally believe. And the show, the show showed up, and I said, every time before I go on, I really believe that whoever shows up for this interview, like right now, your message needs to be heard. And somebody tuning in that needs to hear your message is going to hear it at that exact moment. And so it's just believing and saying yes. When things show up, opportunities show up. I wrote the book with this huge intention to give people lots of resources. And now I work with 211, and I don't know if you've heard of 211, but if you Google 211 in any state in the United States or province in Canada, it's all the resources, like, for veterans, if you need food on your table, if you need help getting a job, whatever it is. And I didn't know. I just set that intention. So I know that you were involved with The Secret and all that. What secrets do you have to share about manifesting, or when people are rebooting and rebuilding this year? What kind of secrets do you have to share?
Well, that's why we started our event called The Secret Knock. And the whole concept is that people come of great influence and say, hey, look, this is one of the little life lessons, a wealth hack, for example. Here's the wealth to get wealthy, or this is how the healthy stay healthy, or this sort of thing. And so I believe we all have our own little ahas and secrets that work for us. And what works for me might be a little bit different than you and the next person, right? So for myself, is again, my big aha and secret is that I surround myself with people that play at something that I would struggle at. For example, I've got a major motion picture that's trending worldwide on Netflix right now. And yet at no time did I run a camera or write a script or do the casting. But I made the movie by surrounding myself with amazing human beings that were experts at those things that I would have to learn. And I put the right people in the right place, and amazing magic came together. And now we're impacting the lives of tens of millions of humans.
Okay, so now share with the listeners the name of your movie and how they can download that to watch.
Yeah, so it is called Wish Man. And if you want to download it, I think you could go to Amazon Prime and buy it. On the same note, you can stream it on Netflix right now, or some of these other devices. And it was really interesting. I asked the founder of Make-A-Wish Foundation what his wish was. And it was to have his story be told from his point of view, so his grandkids will know he did something. So he signed over his life rights, and it took us 6 years and more trials and tribulations you can imagine. And it came out in 2019, and we made the final ballot for the Oscars. And now people are watching us all around the globe.
That's beautiful. Impacting so many people. And if you're looking for a movie to watch, then Wish Man is it. I know that's something we keep running out of movies. This last year, I've watched more movies in the last 12 months than in my entire life, literally. And because what do you do when you're locked down? So for those people that are just starting out, maybe they're looking to write a book. You've got all these books out. You have so many incredible things going on. What advice do you have for people listening in that may want to start writing a book?
Well, my, counsel from this would be probably different than the other person. I'm going to say, don't do it. I'm going to say, hire someone to do it. So, again, if people come up to me all the time and go, I've been thinking about writing a book for 5 years. What do I do? And I say, stop and just hire someone to do, because you've been putting it off for 5 years, right? And hire the very best. So, for example, the people that write the books for me are the best of the best of the best. In fact, my latest book, called Wealth Made Easy, was written by Gary Krebs, who's the former publisher of McGraw-Hill Publishing Corporation. Now, who can write a better book? Dyslexic guy or that dude, right? And so surround yourself with people that literally are playing at something you would struggle at. So we started a boutique publishing company during this time called JVP, Joint Venture Publishing, to help our friends and alliances get their ideas from their brain out into the marketplace.
Yes, and it takes so many hours to write a book. It's so nice to have help. I ran into a publisher along the journey, started myself, and then I was at another event and helping out, and I ran into a publisher who loved the book, and so then they helped me even further, and the book doubled in size.
We keep running in there. I do that one too. If every book I would write myself would be 3 pages, because that's about my ADD. But it's really cool when these other people come on and they breathe the life into it and make it wonderful. It's the same thing. If you came to my home, if I decorated it, everything would be brown furniture. So I bring in designers that have the color splash and things of this.
Yes. So now, the other thing that happens when you're starting out, whether you're starting out to write a book or any new project, side gig, side business, new business because you lost your job during this time, you run into so many people that maybe not aligned, or they may be selling you, taking your money and not really giving you the value that you're looking for. So what is your secret for how to kind of sift through that so that people aren't wasting their money right now on the wrong help?
Yeah, I don't know if you set me up intentionally or subconsciously, but this is probably the biggest topic that bothers me, because this industry, first of all, we have to take accountability and responsibility, clues, patterns, choices. We're the ones that got on stage and told people to fake it till you make it, and now they're faking it and we're telling them not to be fake. So let's be honest, okay? So I started a website called crediblesource.com, and the whole idea is that people could go there and literally hire for 1 hour a mentor that have actually done what everyone else is talking about. So if you want to start a clothing line, well, how about an hour with the founder of UGG Boots? Or if you have an idea for getting into entertainment, having an hour with the founder of the E Entertainment Network. Or if you wanted to get into leadership, here's a former military general. What could your life be if you surround yourself with people who have actually accomplished what everyone else is talking about? And then to answer your question is, I am very much a stickler to say, show me.
Right.
So when people come up to me and say, I can grow your Instagram, saying, awesome. Well, I noticed that you have 12,000 followers and I got 500,000 followers. Why would I possibly listen to you, right? When people say, hey, I can help you write a book, that's awesome. But I can't go to Barnes and Noble and buy your book. You can buy mine. I can't go to the airport and buy your book, but you can buy mine. So the whole idea is show me, and then I can go ahead and be a great representation because someone's actually doing it.
That's so good. And I know you have a lot of fun. You have figured out how to produce so many books and help so many people and have these incredible secret events, and you have fun. You haven't stopped having fun. What is the secret to that?
I think I'm goofy. Even as I remember my first corporate job in my 20s, they gave me a corner office and a Ferrari and all this stuff and 3-piece suits, but I was always dancing and having fun. And they go, you got to calm down. Stop being so goofy. And I remember quitting because that wasn't who I was. And I started living to be my own authentic self. I know it's a cliche, yet it's true. And so I'm just me. I get to show up just as the person who I want to be, rather than how other people have set expectations for me.
Yes, I always found you to be a breath of fresh air, to be honest. And there's so many people that are so happy to see people living in their truth. I think about a young child. Anybody's young child, you look at them and they're singing, they're dancing, they're speaking their mind. They will not hold back. They'll tell you like it is. And they're in this beautiful place of love. It's not ego. It's not to be better or worse, or it's just, they're just being their authentic self. And somewhere along the line between school and, I don't know, media, whatever it is, they learn to not be who they really are. So they might be walking down the street dancing and singing and having a great time. And then, people come by and they're like, oh, wait, I gotta be serious now. And it's like, nobody really is like that. And what do we teach our children then, how to grow up to be so serious?
All right. I got to step in here because I feel like, you're setting me up on a T-ball. So I've got a 9-year-old son. His name's Colt. And when he was a kid, 7, he had the #1 album on Amazon for spoken word, where he did his mantra done to hip hop music. And what's really interesting is I had an epiphany and realized that most parents pay their kids to do things that they're not a fan of, like, pull the weeds, make their bed, do the dishes, and they get their allowance. And I thought about it, and says, why would I want to plant in my child's brain the only way to make money is to do something they hate? So I flipped it and said, Colt, you do great with these Instagram memes and these TikTok videos. I go, from now on, your allowance is by doing these for me. And I go, so I'm going to pay your allowance by doing something you excel in that you love to do. And by the way, living in this incredible, lifestyle, we'll call that contribution, where you just make your bed and do your stuff. He says, sounds like a deal. Now he just does those things because it's part of the living, but he's rewarded and paid for something he excels at. And that's setting the expectations growing up, that's how you're rewarded, by doing what you do best.
That makes so much sense. And I know I adopted 3 children and have 3 of my own. So I raised a big family, and all my kids, I let them do that same thing. I had one child that was really good at math, computer programming, and chess. And people were like, well, that's not really, I don't know, he needs to go play and do. He networked the Staples Center when they first opened. And I think he was 11. And he was an assistant with Step One Solutions, and they networked the Staples Center, and he would literally build computers at 5 years old. He took all his toys apart to see how they worked. I was like, okay, cool. And he played chess. Now he is a master, and he works for the biggest chess company in the United States. And that's all he does, is go and wins lots and lots and lots of money at these chess tournaments.
That's incredible. I know when the Queen's Gambit came out, kind of love that one. It's interesting. I play probably 20 to 30 games at a time every single day myself. And something that, I'm a big fan of. And back to the point, though, people watching or listening to this, just because we played with BB guns and, baseballs, well, the kids' equipment is different than we had. And his kids' equipment will be different. So to us, it's just their equipment. So to me, it doesn't make a difference what it is. I like to do a combination myself. So make sure when my son's playing Fortnite, we go out and throw the football, play Frisbee. As soon as this is done, we're all getting in the car to go to the beach, to go throw the football and stuff like that. But then tonight, we're just going to be a Fortnite tournament and let them play to his heart's content. So I believe in that balance, but also reward them that is their equipment.
Yes. And when I had gift stores, I had 5 gift stores, 5,000 square foot plus, starting at 23, and raised my children in those stores. And I had a game room. And so they got to choose all the games that would go in this one section of the store, 5,000 square feet. And so it's different sections, different items. And my kids would go play on the weekends, and they'd be playing these educational games, and all the grandparents would come in, or the parents, and they would buy these games for the kids. And they got to keep a commission off of their sales, and that was their allowance. And they all have their own little side businesses now, or whatever, because they just grew up with that. That's a better education than the books.
Amen. Well, it's that practical, hands-on, doing something. And, our words mean everything. So it's interesting back to, even my kid here, he has his CD out, right? And the whole thing is, it's a mantra. So before he goes to bed, he says, my name's Colt. I'm happy. I'm powerful. I'm brave. I'm wise. I'm worthy. I'm successful. I help people. My name's Colt. And by planting these seeds of expectation, all of a sudden those things start happening. And I can even see when he's doing something, or he's playing a game and someone's not doing so well, he'll stop and go help somebody, because it's implanted, right? It's something that who they become as a person.
Yes. Now I would like to go back to some of your books. What is your latest book out?
God, there's so many. Just so you guys know, I got 5-6 books every year coming out. My last one that published, I think last month, is called Sellership, with the foreword by Brian Tracy, and it was written with the co-author Ben Ward. It was amazing. Where so many people focus on sales and how to close sales, we went from a different perspective. It's the first ever book on sales leadership. So you realize that the top salesperson on a sales floor, they always try to make them the manager because they think they're the best, but you're taking them out of their best role, and you're putting them something they're not thriving at. So what you want to do is find the right people that are leaders, that learn the technical skills of leadership, and put them in those roles. So this book teaches people the power of sales leadership in a way that's never been done before.
Oh, I love that. And having those gift stores, my gift stores all had a heart. I came out of foster care. I was homeless as a young kid. I had all these really interesting things that happened in my life. And so I had a whole program with Job Training Partnership Act, and I had over 200 kids that went through my my stores and got all the training on how to run a business, and they got to wear all the hats. But when we had our team meetings, they got to contribute. And some kids would come in and they'd end up they do the best displays, or they were great with the people, and they really found their voice. And it was really strange, because that was my heart, was to help those kids. And the store made money, but it was everybody that walked in the store was royalty. And that's what they were taught and we'd go on, I'd call it field trips, and I'd take these young emancipating kids to the mall, and we would see, now, how did you like that when you went and bought that one item and the clerk wasn't very nice to you? And then we go to like Nordstrom's or somewhere fancy, and look, they hand you the bag and they thank you. And now, how did that feel? And we just had fun. I think the secret that you have and that I've had is fun. And we lose that. You go to work and you spend more time at work to prepare and save for your family and provide for them. But if you're not having fun, work doesn't happen. And the clients, the people that walk in the store, they could feel the difference. I would tell them, if you do not want to be here today, do not come to work. I would rather you not be here with that energy. And then when you want to be here, you're here. And that made a big difference. So.
Yeah. And it's interesting, people watching this for the first time, understand you probably go back and repeat all of our shows, because you're going to learn and get a little nugget every single time you do. And here's a little gem for you. When people come to my office, the first thing I do is I challenge them at a game. Every single human that walks through here. It's going to be Frisbee golf. It's going to be pool, ping pong, shooting basketballs. Doesn't make a difference. I'm going to challenge you to something, because how we play games is how we play life. How we play games is how we play life. Are you going to cheat when you lose? Are you going to pay your bet? Are you going to, circumvent the system? Are you going to make up your own rules as you go? And so I do the very best I can to get someone doing something engaging, because I can size them up like that. And you can see very fast who you want to do business with.
Oh, yes. Yes. And I ended up in politics, and not to be political, but my best friend's husband was running for office, and I ended up managing the whole campaign. And they asked me, what party are you in? And I was so young, I said, Free Spirit. I didn't even know the party names. And the thing was, I got the vote out and did more than most people, because we were having fun. And it was just fun. And everybody wanted to show up, because it's a community. They're gathering. They believe in whatever cause they believe in. And my main cause was nonpartisan. It was always equal education for all, to help all children have equal education in our United States and in globally, in the world. And so that's always been my passion, and something that we still need to work on. But that fun part was what kept people coming back, where maybe somebody knew more. They, like you said, the experts that knew more about running a campaign, awesome, but nobody showed up. There'd be like 3 people that would show up. And then if they heard I was going to be there to run the event, everybody would show up, and we would have fun, and they would stay late, and we'd make games. We would, we'd have contests and do crazy fun things, and it got the work done, and it was community.
That's right.
Community.
People do more for a cause than they'll ever do for money. And so once you realize that, and you can create a movement and a mission and get people behind it, amazing things start unveiling and showing you the way. It's like anything else. You can't hit a goal until you have a goal to hit. So many people sit there and say, I want to be happy, but they don't know what that looks like, or I want to be rich, or I want whatever. But as soon as you give yourself that target, you're on track. It's like an archery person flinging a bow in the air saying, look how good I'm doing, compared to someone giving themselves that bullseye and knowing exactly whether they're on course. So make sure that we know what we're looking for, so we won't be surprised when we stumble across it.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you could go back in time to when you were younger, what advice would you give yourself, knowing all that you know today?
What I've already said is to surround yourself with people that are getting the results you want, and ask them exactly how they got their information. And I'm very strong about it today. And I wish I would have learned a bit earlier. I trusted too many people saying, I can do this for you, and yet they've never done it themselves. So I'm very, very careful now to make sure that I do my due diligence, to check behind there, and not afraid to ask them to show me that evidence before I go and give them my hard-earned cash.
That's very wise. And As a younger person, when you were starting out with the first book and you got turned down so many times, what did you do to stay positive and resilient and keep going?
I wasn't younger. I was 40 years old. So, I mean, what's interesting about it is I didn't use that as a negative. I use it as rocket fuel, like my buddy C Rock says. So I took every single rejection letter and I posted it on the wall behind me, and I decorated the office with wallpaper of all my rejections. And I will not let another person or myself talk me out of what I know to be true. And ironic is so many of those rejection letters, those publishers and agents are now my close friends I play tennis with and we're buddies. And on the same note, I don't take it personal. They turned me down because I wasn't very astute and I couldn't write one today. On the same note, once I learned the system and the method and could have people pull my gift of gab and craft it in a way people would want to read it, that's where the miracle lies.
That's incredible. Now, before your young age of 40, when you started, what were you doing in business and life that was different until that point of that first book?
Yeah, I had a completely different life. So from age 20 to 40, I only had one job for 20 years. So I sold advertising specialty sales. That's all I did. And I ended up starting my own business and I grew it and I sold it for, a nice little chunk. And people kept saying, how'd you do that? And then they said, you never went to school. You can't read. It makes no sense. And I said, well, I listened to these tapes. I went to seminars. I like these bumper sticker chants. And so they asked me to speak at a university. And it went over really well. And they started passing me around like a joint at a Grateful Dead concert to all the campuses. And then finally some kid said, you should write a book. And I go, man, it's a good goal. I've never read a book. So I sat down and I started. And again, 268 rejections, no hard feelings until finally it came out. And now here we are and just rocking the world. But back to that, this was that book, The Millionaire Mentor. And what's cool about it is that this quote from the book was shared 37 million times. 37 million times. It says, a dream written down with a date becomes a goal broken down becomes a plan backed by action makes your dreams come true. Everyone's seen it. Everyone's seen this.
I've heard it, yes.
I wrote it in this book and I was turned down by 268 publishers. What if I would have quit after 215 or 87 or whatever? Millions and millions of people would not have seen this inspiration because, again, I would have let someone else tell me what I was capable of.
That is so true. Wow. Incredible. And it comes down to, I think about Tony Robbins' events, one of my favorite mentors, and how he always says it's 2 millimeters. A lot of the time people will give up, or like you, 3 feet from gold, right? The same idea where people will give up when they're so close to the finish line because it feels difficult.
That's right.
Or they're not making any progress.
Well, or they're getting feedback again.
Negative. Yeah.
I say BS to that earlier part. I say it's because they're getting bad input from people that don't know what the hell they're talking about. Because again, when I was going through the challenges of getting my books out and I kept seeking people that were experts, they would say, oh, here's what you need to do and keep me on track. But if I kept going to my family, friends and saying I'm not getting results and here's all my rejections, they would have told me to quit. I mean, again, they would just talk me out of it. So surround yourself with people you have respect for, not people you have influence over. That's the secret. Look, again, when I want to be a best-selling author, when I went to Barnes & Noble, I didn't go to the best written books. I didn't want to be a great writing author. I can't read. So I went to the best selling section. I said, teach me, what's the system? And I duplicated it. And here we are today. It's the same thing. When I went running with the bulls in Spain, I just called the person who wrote the definitive, book on that and said, where do I stand and have a good time and not get killed? That's easy. Go right here. You have a good time. Bulls run one side. You'll go here. That's what I did. Same thing when I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro or did any of these crazy adventures is I sought people who are world authorities in something that I was struggling at.
Well, yes. So I would love for you to share a couple tips for those that are really looking to get that new millionaire mindset, the secret for how to rebuild their lives this year with all this craziness going on.
Yeah. So number one, stop talking to your friends and family. That's door number 2. Go to lunch with them, go play golf. Yes. But stop sharing your goals, dreams, and aspirations with them. If you want to become an artist, stop telling your family and friends. What you want to do is go to the local gallery and see whose art is being pulled off the walls and being sold, not displayed, but sold. And then go to that artist and say, how do you do it? What's the system? If you want to be an author, seek someone who's successful. If you want to be a speaker, seek someone who's successful. If you want to open a yogurt shop, who's got the biggest chain? Surround yourself with people that are getting the results that you want. And the most available people are the most successful people. I know it sounds weird, but it's true. And the way you get that is with specificity. This is the key to everything, and people miss it. No one wants a brain pick. No one wants to go to lunch with you. They don't want dinner. They don't want coffee. Specificity. So what I would do is I would reach out to, let's say I wanted to tell you to the guy who invented the cell phone. I'd reach out to him, Marty Cooper, and say, I need 12.5 minutes of your time. I'll cover all my own expense to get to you. From the moment out in the door till the moment I leave, it's going to be 12 and a half minutes. I'll start a stopwatch. I'm going to ask you one simple question, X, Y, Z. The chance of them coming from their office to the break room to do that is so high. But people don't do that. They sit there and go, I want to take you out to dinner. I want to take you out. No one wants to do that. Specificity is the key. If I get off stage and there's thousands of people and there's a long line, how can I be of service? How can I work with you? I don't have 30 minutes to do a resume check compared to the guy who come up and says, hey, I saw your Instagram. Love your memes. I make those by chance. Let me send you one. If you like it, maybe you'll use me. What was that, 4 seconds? I know who you are, what you do. You got my cell phone. We're in contact. Specificity is the key to opening up the doors.
Nice. I love that. And where can people get in touch with you, buy your books, or maybe learn more about The Secret Knock?
Well, books, you can go to Barnes & Noble. You can go to, let me see, Kinko's now, FedEx Kinko's. You can go to the airports. You can go wherever you look around and you're going to find one of my books. And then you can reach out to me directly on Instagram. It's Greg S. Reid. DM me. If you talk about the weather or what your kids ate for dinner, I probably won't respond. Yet if you have specificity and say, hey, what's a good business book, or who should I meet, or can you make a connection, I'll get back to you 100%. And Secret Knock is secretknock.co. By the way, we just were ranked on Yahoo Finance last week as the #1 event in the world for business relationships and alliances.
Oh, I love that. I can't wait. I can't wait to go to one of the Secret Knocks again soon. Well, thank you again for being a guest on the show, Greg.
I would like to thank the sponsor of today's show, Unidragon. This company is the largest producer and seller of wooden puzzles in the world today. Unidragon puzzles have colorful designs of fairy tale and animal images. This kind of product is very attractive, memorable, and popular for audiences of all ages. The details have a unique shape, and this puzzle is interesting for playing and actually incredibly good for the mind. Unidragon puzzles are crafted with the highest quality of artistic flair. They use original art and then a special laser cutting process to achieve the perfect puzzle fit every time. The puzzle comes in a beautiful wood crafted chest, and it is a pleasant gift for loved ones, friends, and relatives. Order yours today at www.unidragon.com. Today's show, we have a special giveaway. So I do have a gift for beautiful, authentic you. Get your free introduction to the Boots Formula mini course and the Boots meditation. That's right, it is free as a gift to you, and you can pick that up now at www.SheilaMac.com/boots, BOOTS meditation.
And if you are just tuning in, this is Sheila Mac with the Sheila Mac Show here on NBC's KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. All right, due to some popular demand, I am going to share with you today 5 tips for entrepreneurs, small business owners, and those with a new side hustle that will help you have even more financial success this year. The first tip I'd like to share with you today is pay yourself and your family first. I have been a coach and consultant for many small business owners, and actually started years ago at the age of 23, opening my first retail gift store, and then ended up having 5 and running many businesses from then till now, not to give away my age. And so one of the things that I found with many of the small business owners, entrepreneurs, and those with the side hustle is that they forget to pay themselves first. They don't pay their family. And so the way to structure your business, depending on how your business is structured, if it's an S Corp, an LLC, there are ways that you can actually benefit from paying your children, your family members to help out in your business in one form or another. And that is a great way. It saves a lot of taxes and something that you can look into with your CPA. And that will help you a lot as well. If you also want to look into how to save for your Social Security benefits and this and that, there are actually plans where you can set up a fund for that. And that may or may not be something that you're interested in doing, but it is very important that you do show and pay yourself first from your company. It's just so many small business owners today, they pay their employees, they pay their virtual assistants, they pay for marketing, which is, yes, it is very important, but they forget to pay themselves. And so now we're going to go into the next important point that it can really make a change in your small business. And that is that a lot of times, I don't know how many thousands of small business owners that I've worked with over the years, that I have found that they are actually using their personal credit to pay for their supplies, for marketing, for everything in their business. So as soon as you finish this, the best thing you can do for your small business or side hustle is to start building your business credit. And what's going to happen with that is a business credit, if you have an LLC, an S Corp, small business owner, if you are able to get small credit at first, what's going to happen is over time, you will build credit, and it's fast. Within 6 months to 12 months, you're going to have so many more options, lower interest rates than personal credit. You will be able to invest in things like a company car. You will even be able to invest in real estate using your business credit. And this is interesting if it's structured properly. For instance, years ago, I had an LLC, and then before that, I had an S Corp for many years with my gift stores. And with that, I was able to start using small business credit. Before you know it, now I started my first gift store, just a little background here. I started my first gift store. It was 5,000 square feet and literally $5,000 a month, so $1 square foot, in Montrose, California. And I did not know what I was doing. I was 23 years old, and somehow I ran into using business credit really fast because I needed to get products in the store, and somebody told me about it. I can't even remember who. Before you know it, before the end of that first year, I was getting great net 90 terms, so I didn't have to pay things back for 90 days. I had 0 interest offers. I had 10 times more business credit than personal credit. And I was literally able to go. I remember I bought a van for the store because we had to haul merchandise and this and that. And so with that, I was able to use business credit. I got 0% interest on this van, a great deal. And I ended up buying a second vehicle for the business and for my main employee, which was a family member at the time. And so that was another thing. And later on, I was actually able to purchase my first building. So the first store, just a little history again, I opened the store and I leased it as a young 23-year-old girl. I negotiated 6 months free rent. It was a 5-year lease, $5,000 a month. It had some, I think it was like a 4% increase every year. And I did not like paying for rent. I came from an investing background, even at that young age, and I just didn't like that over the long term. So the first thing I did after I got established was I actually bought my next store property. And when I purchased that building, I used business credit and, some of the down payment, and then the business credit was able to get me into that first building. And when that lease ended, I got out of leasing and I just bought the properties then going forward. So that was something that business credit can actually help you to build a wonderful nest egg. And here I had this gift store in the small Montrose shopping park in Montrose, California. And in this community, there were so many very successful store owners, business owners there, and they just were paying rent for 20, 30 years that they had been in business. And this young new girl comes into town. I remember helping with the shopping park and this and that. And they were like, wait, you bought a building? And we started talking about the benefits of that. And so that is something that's the next point. The fourth point in this is if you are in a physical building, which I know we're moving away from that, but some of us still need warehouses, we need buildings, some still have a storefront or office space that you're renting. If you are able to buy or invest in that over time, this is the beauty of it. At the end, those on that little shopping park, those few blocks that was a very popular place to shop in town, those that actually had purchased the building where their payments were almost the same as a lease payment over time, they were, first of all, they were building equity. So now they owned the property. If they needed to size down because business shifted, they could rent out a portion of that building, depending on the size, to another business and then have income to help pay the mortgage faster. They were also able to retire and just rent out the building instead of having to work forever. Those that had health issues or things happened that had that equity in that building, in that property, they were actually able to have a nest egg and something for their families. And the other ones, when the business stopped, when they were not physically able to continue working, or they didn't want to, or the market completely changed, they had nowhere to go and nothing to do, and they had nothing to show for all those years. And they had mortgaged their house and used their personal credit to fund their business in the lean years when things shifted. And so with that, it really put them in a tough situation. And that's because they used the personal credit versus the business credit. So it is really important. And it may be that you are in a place where you have to have a business location that is in a super expensive area, Beverly Hills, or some other part of the country where the real estate is ridiculous. Now, with this year, 2021, there are some changes where if you still need a place, this may be a wonderful time to buy. And so that might be something to look at because things have changed. But for the most part, if you can't invest in that building and you need to continue paying rent, it is a great way to have a backup when you invest in real estate through other avenues, whether that is single family residences when you're first starting or other small commercial buildings. I personally like to have a nice mix of both. And so that is going to really help you for when you retire or to prepare for any kind of switch in the industry that could happen. The way things are going now, we have surprises that we never expected, like a pandemic that could make you a lot of money in your business, or at a certain point you may just need to or want to go have fun and do something different and just rent your building out and travel.
All right, if you're just tuning in, this is the Sheila Mack Show on NBC's KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. And I would like to invite you to get started if you are looking to reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life and just want to start with the guidebook. Get bootstraps and bra straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. It is a great beginning guide to start getting back on track and rebuilding and rebooting your business this year. It is available at Amazon, Audible, Kindle, and SheilaMac.com, SheilaMac.com. Also, if you'd like to go a little bit deeper in your business reboot, sign up for the Business Leader Reboot course at SheilaMac.com. That is, if you want to lead your team or your company to even more success, I help you using the Boots formula and my years of experience in business so that you can quickly and easily have even more success. Go to SheilaMac.com and under courses, look for Business Leader Reboot.
So here it is, my latest book. I have to let you know something, just between you and me. This book is not one size fits all, just like a pair of boots or a bra. So the formula is designed to help you through any situation. To grab a copy of my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. It is now available on Audible as well as on Amazon and Kindle and at www.sheilamac.com. I have a giveaway gift for all my listeners, especially for beautiful, authentic you. Request your free introduction to the Boots formula and Boots meditation today at www.sheilamac.com/Boots meditation. Sheila, SheilaMac.com/BOOTS meditation. All right.
Have you lost your job? Have you lost a loved one? Are you exhausted caring for your parents, for your kids? Well, you can find immediate relief when you read Sheila Mac's new #1 bestseller, Bootstraps and Bra Straps. It contains the Boots formula to move from rock bottom back into action in any situation, especially right now. If life has knocked you down, pick yourself up with Bootstraps and Bra Straps. Get your copy at www.sheilamac.com today.